This video is for educational and prevention purposes only. It's not instruction. I will not teach you how to hack into anyone's YouTube account. Instead, I'll highlight the most common vulnerabilities that lead to account compromises and explain how attackers typically exploit them to gain access, take over channels, and impersonate creators. Such as in the case of Taygetans Swaruus YouTube channels. I will not demonstrate any hacking method or tools. The focus is on common mistakes and how to avoid them, emphasizing patterns rather than procedures, so you can better protect your own channel and other personal accounts, and gain a clearer understanding of how such accounts are compromised. How normal YouTube accounts get compromised. A YouTube account is usually tied to a Google account, so attackers target that. Common methods include: Number 1. Phishing, most common. Fake emails or messages that look like they are from YouTube, Google, or service you use, such as in my case, Epidemic Sound, service which can be identified through someone's video credits. These attackers often research your content, so if you make something public, be especially cautious with messages claiming to be from services you publicly use. Verify their authenticity before clicking any links or sharing information. Assume every message is suspicious until proven otherwise. One effective way to reduce this risk is to avoid using your public email address to register on platforms you openly associate with your content. Instead, use a separate private email for account access. That way, if you receive a message related to those services in your public inbox, you will immediately know. They trick you into entering your password on a fake login page. Then once you type it in, the attacker has your credentials. 2. Password reuse. If you use the same password on multiple sites and one gets hacked, attackers try it on your other accounts. Attackers routinely test stolen credentials on other platforms, so if you reuse password, even if it once, it's like dominoes falling. Once one falls, the rest will follow. Use unique passwords for every account, ideally managed through a password manager. 3. Malware or spyware. Downloading shady software can install programs that record your keystrokes or steal saved passwords. Recording keystrokes means the attacker's software is secretly capturing everything you type on your keyboard. Passwords, messages, search queries, everything. This is done using something called a keylogger, a type of spyware. But how can someone install a software keylogger on my computer remotely? Remote installation usually doesn't happen magically. It happens because the user is tricked or a system weakness is exploited. Malware usually doesn't break in, it's invited in, disguised as something harmless, trusted, and useful to you. It usually happens in 4 ways. A. You install it yourself, social engineering. This is the most common case. Attackers disguise malware as something useful or normal. Free software, cracks, mods, or installers. Fake updates. Update your browser, flash, or driver. Attachments in emails or downloads. You click install and the keylogger is bundled inside. So it's not forced, it's deceived consent. B. Phishing links leading to downloads. You can click a link that pretends to be a login page or service, then prompts you to download something required or secure. That download is the malware. C. Exploiting unpatched vulnerabilities. Sometimes, software has security flaws. If your system is outdated, a malicious website or file can exploit that flaw. The malware installs without obvious permission prompts. This is more technical and usually used in targeted attacks. The most important defense is good cybersecurity hygiene, keeping your system and apps consistently updated. D. Physical access. If someone briefly gets access to your device, they can install spyware in minutes or plug in malicious hardware. Always keep your most important devices at home. If possible, have at least 2 phones and leave one securely stored at home at all times. Keep it powered off or unused when not needed, and still protected with a strong passcode and security settings. But this is an advanced security measure and not necessary for most people. However, it can be really useful in higher risk situations, such as living in a large city where phone theft or pickpocketing is more common, especially if you use banking apps on your device. If your banking apps are only installed on the device you keep at home, you will reduce this risk. 4. Fake sponsorships or collaboration scams. Creators often get emails offering deals with attachments or links. Opening them can install malware or steal login sessions. Never click suspicious sponsor or copyright claim emails or any other email or Discord message containing links for gifts, promotions, inheritances, or anything that looks too good to be true or pressures you to act quickly. 5. Session hijacking. Instead of stealing your password, attackers steal your active login session, the cookies, letting them bypass login entirely. How to avoid this? A. Don't run unknown files or extensions. Avoid installing random programs, cracked software, or browser extensions. These are one of the main ways cookies get stolen. B. Be careful with links and downloads. Don't open files or links from unknown or unexpected sources. Even PDFs, zips, or documents can carry malicious code. C. Avoid logging in on shared or public devices. Public or shared computers can capture session data. Always log out if you must use one. D. Use antivirus security tools. Good security software can detect cookie-stealing malware, often called info stealers. 6. Weak or no security protections. For example, no two-factor authentication, 2FA, easy-to-guess passwords with easy-to-guess patterns, you know what I mean? Reused passwords with reused patterns. So not only don't reuse passwords that you've already used somewhere else, but also don't reuse predictable patterns, because those, they are easy to guess, and they can be very easy to guess, especially for hackers who are used to doing that, who are used to cracking these codes. Short passwords with no complexity or randomness to them. I would like to give you an example. If a password is a truly random, for example, 24-character password, So you see the example on the screen now. Just a password with random uppercase, lower cases, numbers, symbols, things like that. So the character set is around 95 possible characters with the standard keyboard, okay? Because it would depend on the keyboard. So the total combinations will be 95 to the power of 24, which is approximately equal to 10 to the power of 47 possibilities. So even with extremely advanced computing, at least human computing, a human supercomputer or AI assisted system trying billions of guesses per second would still need far longer than the age of the universe on average to decode it. So the conclusion is that it's practically, effectively impossible to break a password with more than, in my case, like the example that I gave you, 24 characters just with brute force. But of course, if you want to be even more secure, you would use more than 24 characters, okay? Of course, it would depend because each website, they have a limit for characters, but if you can use 30, 40, 50 characters, why not? And then you're going to ask me, but how on earth am I supposed to remember 30, 50, 60 characters? You don't need to remember it yourself. If you use a password manager like Bitwarden or 1Password or ProtonPass or Dashlane or NordPass, for example, they will remember it for you. And it's actually secure. I have researched about all of these apps, and I'm not saying that I use them, because maybe I do, maybe I don't. Because sometimes the best way for some people to keep all of your passwords secure is, the old pen and pencil and a piece of paper or a notebook, right? A physical notebook. You can also do that. But I'm telling you that there are other methods that can help you manage all of your passwords and even help you generate random, complex new passwords with the number of characters that you wish. And they will fill all of the passwords for you, because these password managers, they do have browser extensions. And I know that I said that you should avoid browser extensions. But if you use a reliable password manager, it should be no problem. Okay, and if you are unsure about this, just research it for yourself, because there are pros and cons to this. But this is just one way that I'm giving to you. I'm not telling you that you need to do any of this, okay? This is just, they are just more options, more choices that I'm giving to you to choose from, okay? But we will talk about this more in the next video, which will be the last, regarding this topic of cybersecurity, at least, for now. And I will also talk about how to protect yourself in other, areas on the internet, not just regarding YouTube channels that most of you don't have here. But it does not matter if you don't have a YouTube channel. All of this information is still very useful to you, because it's always the same principle. The same principle applies. You don't have YouTube channels, with public videos, but if you're here commenting on my videos, you have a YouTube channel. You know what I'm saying? You don't need videos to have a YouTube channel, because for you to comment on a video, you need a YouTube channel. But what I meant is, you don't publicly post videos and all of that. And finally, I would like just, to mention that I'm not saying that I take all of these steps. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. Maybe I do much more than this. Maybe I do much less than this. Maybe I don't need it because of, for other reasons. But, well, I'm just saying this because I can't give to the people, because if this is public, if you know about this, then they also know about this. And, I can't say everything that I do, okay? So this is everything that I'm sharing in this video and in the next video are just the basics. These are the type of steps that if you don't post anything online, for example, then it should be enough, okay? Because they don't target a person specifically. They always target a group of people, okay? And I also have to say that it does not matter if they are hackers with lots of resources, if they are the FBI, the NSA, the CIA, the MI6, the Russian mafia, the Yakuza. It does not matter who they are. Oh, or even extraterrestrials, because even they rely on a mistake from you in most, in the grand majority of the cases. They depend on a mistake from you. And also, we are still using a human technology, right? Computers, they are from humans. So they still need to access this using human technology. Because there are certain laws that they need to, I guess, abide by. However, of course, we cannot count on this. And I'm not saying that it's impossible that if an extraterrestrial being who has no morals, who's not part of the Federation and it's regressive or whatever, they don't care about rules. If they want to maybe hack you or access you somehow, if they want to reach you somehow, they might be able to. I'm not telling you here that they can't. I'm not naive. We don't know who is watching us, okay? But definitely, it's just, they are not just humans. They are many beings watching us. So, yeah, even a very small channel like this, okay? So, I'm just trying to give you the best that I can with the resources that I have, with the knowledge that I have as a human being, okay? And I'm also telling you here this, whoever you are, if you're watching this from off planet, I do not consent to being hacked. I just need to say this out loud. Because if you really are from outside Earth, then you have a much superior technology, right? And than what I have right now and what we all have. So if you just attempt to hack us, or any other, human, just because it goes against what you want for Earth, or your other agendas, or your other dark agendas out there related to Earth, then there will be an intervention. Because the fight is not fair. If a human hacks an extraterrestrial being, that's one thing. Because the extraterrestrials, they have much more technology and much higher IQ, like we all know. And not only that, but other, senses that they can use. So the fight is not, I'm not gonna say equal, because the human is, inferior, but I don't like this word, but you know what I mean, in all aspects, okay? But if an extraterrestrial being hacks a normal human citizen for dark agendas, then that's a completely different story. And there will be an intervention from not inside Earth, but from outside of Earth, and maybe from someone or groups, or maybe from something that you'd never expect it from.